Well, hello again, everybody. This is Phil Kilcrease, and I'm here with Brent Winterton of a whole variety of things, actually. He has a bunch of hustles he is doing, and hustling is not a horrible thing at all. It is a very good thing if you are doing it right. And as far as I can tell, Brent is doing it right. Thanks so much for joining us today, Brent. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Right on. You totally should be. It is a fun time talking with friends. So tell us what exactly you're doing. I've lost count of exactly how many things you're up to.
So right now, I've got a few things going on. One, I'm the two main things that I'm working on right now are one, I'm working with another Foundry member who has a company called Quatere Home Care. It's his idea. He has me coming on to add new clients. But what the company there are a lot of people that need handymen to come in, especially in rentals or in HOA communities. And so the idea of that business is to have people come in, handymen come in to properties and do any things around the house, whether it's inside or outside, that people need to get done, so they can get on with their lives. If they don't want to or they don't need to, whatever it might be, they'll be able to have that taken care of. And so I'm talking with these communities and getting them signed on. The other thing that I'm doing is working with Adam Kazlakowski. He has a business with making aftermarket car parts, specifically with a BMW model, and I'm talking with e-commerce websites, people who sell really anything for the BMW, and kind of seeing what their interest is with that, with buying those, whether it's in bulk or even possibly drop shipping. But basically doing orders with that to see how many ways and how many different markets, different places that company can grow as well. So those are the two biggest things that I'm working on right now. There's a couple others that are kind of side projects, I guess you can call them right now, where I'm just seeing where, just kind of testing the market on those at this point.
Got it.
Talk about it if you want.
Well, of course we want to talk about them. So in these two projects, you've joined the team of another founder. So what led you to making that decision? And instead of it sounds like you have these other side hustles too, but what led you to joining these two teams?
So a couple of reasons. The first one, Quatere Home Care, I thought I like the idea, and I have a lot of experience doing door-to-door sales, lots of cold calling, which is exactly what I'm doing there. So it was really easy for me to switch positions, starting to work with him, and I thought it was a good idea to start along right up my alley. So really, and he's done a lot of the other things that need to be done, like building a website, getting handymen together. So I was really just kind of able to just do what I'm good at and not have to worry about anything else. Just focus on my thing. He takes care of everything else, which is pretty nice. Then working with Adam Kazlakowski with the BMW parts. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's got lots of businesses that he's started, lots of businesses that he's working on with other people. So he's really experienced, and being able to work with someone like that who is already gone through the process. He already knows what to do. it's really beneficial to someone like me who has less experience at this point, to save myself a lot of time and a lot of heartache and hassle. Trying to kind of bump into walls, trying to find how to get things done. He's right there. He can help me out.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So a good opportunity fit and some mentoring is what I'm hearing. Those are both great plans, I would have to say. So what are your other side hustles that you've got going on? You mentioned you have a few other projects because you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Right. Yeah. So one is working. It's actually another kind of apprenticeship, just like with Adam Kazlakowski, and it's just me narrowing down different project ideas that they have given me to see which one is going to fit me the best. And that's working with Adam Slavic. And then
I see.
Business together. So, right now it's basically testing markets, seeing who's going to be interested in what, see how plausible these ideas are in particular markets, and by the end of the year I should be able to have a pretty good idea. Right now it's the beginning of November, but by the end of the year I should have a pretty good idea of which one of those I'm going to go for.
Aha. How many are you working through?
So I started out with I think 7 or 8, and I've got it narrowed down to 3 right now, 3 or 4. But yeah, it's just a matter of looking things up online to start out with, and talking to people who would be potentially interested in, see what their input would be, this type of thing. And then obviously what I'm most interested in participating in as well.
Gotcha, because it has to be a fit for you too. So you'll be working through those. One of the big questions I've had for you actually, since we got you queued up for the Founder Stories, was what brought you to the Foundry in applying? Because you came in and you just had this huge list of ideas, and from smart fish tank filters to ties and other accessories, things like that. What it sounds like you've actually been doing this for a bit and have had like a drive. Is that what brought you to the Foundry?
Yeah. I did have there were good 4 or 5 different things that I was looking at, and then I was actively kind of one of the things that made me decide to kind of go with these with other people's projects is just that it's helpful to have somebody with experience, or if you like someone's idea and that you can you have something that you can put into that that's going to make it's going to be beneficial. That's really helpful. But before as I was a junior or a senior, right now I'm a senior, I found out I just kept on. It just kind of caught the general entrepreneurial spirit just kind of caught my interest. I kind of wanted to go do something that had along those lines, and I always would hear lots of things about what was going on at the U. It's kind of a bigger Utah in general is more entrepreneurial than a lot of places throughout the U.S.
It really is.
So it was really nice to know that I was in such a great area. Realize it's probably part of the reason why I kind of feel this way is having grown up here. And so I just kind of search things online, trying to figure some things out on my own, look at different resources that I might have. And I heard about Lassonde that was going to be built, Lassonde Studios, new building this year at the U. And I thought, And so I started looking at the website, seeing everything that they had to offer, deciding if I wanted to live here or not. I'm actually sitting in my apartment right now here at Lasan.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, and I literally went through the whole website, Lasan website, deciding, seeing what they had what was there to offer, what I liked, and the Foundry was one of the things that actually caught my interest more than any of the others, just because it was able to customize itself to what you would need, on your specific projects more than anything else, which is really, really valuable. So that's something that I liked a lot. So that's probably the biggest thing that kind of drove me here, and how I found it as well.
Very cool. And you are right. The processes that we have in place are fairly simple, if not rigorous, and they do form fit to tell a unique story for every participant. So your intuitions were indeed correct. Along those lines of that, just your drive of just wanting to do so much, bringing you into the Foundry, how did you start narrowing down your list? Because I've noticed in your management report that things have slowly been being phased out. So how have you gone about deciding what isn't worth pursuing right now?
Yeah, so there are a few factors that weighed in more than others. One would be what I'm what's interests me, or what I am more skilled at. That was a pretty big factor. Also, if I thought that it was something that would be good, that it would be a good idea, how easy it would be to find like-minded individuals who would want to work on these projects with me, build a team, and then also how profitable it's going to be. How much is it going to be worth the time that I put in or not? Is there something else that's going to be more worth it, that's going to make me lean more towards doing that? So it ended up, that's kind of how that ended up making me feel like that was the best thing to do, as far as narrowing things down. And I mean, a lot of them are, they could all equally, there's an equal chance that a lot of those could work out. It's really a question of how I want to use my time. It's kind of what it comes down to.
So much like with the Brent Thompson and Adam Slavic stuff, founder market fit to a degree, along with time constraint as well. So excellent. So you're applying that in both instances. In your going through this, because you were attracted to the Foundry, getting this rolling, what has been one of the biggest things you've learned, or a surprise that came to you as you've been going through this and narrowing down your selections and joining teams?
Well, there hasn't there have been kind of some surprises, but more than anything, because I've heard of a lot of these things before. It's just like seeing what's really been helpful is actually seeing their real life application of some of these things. Like, for example, testing a market. People would talk about you want to test a market, but that's all they would say. They wouldn't say how you're going to want to do that, or really anything like that to kind of really get you moving in a direction where you're actually going to get something done. So actually being able to see specific projects, mine as well as other people's in the Foundry, and see what they're doing to test to test out specific markets, it's been really helpful in getting me going on.
Awesome. So some of that peer mentoring going on, as well as helping each other out and just looking across the room like, oh, I'm not alone in this adventure, because that is one thing is entrepreneurial ventures can be very lonely when you're at the top and the person running the company, because it's you, maybe a couple of co-founders, and that's it, against the markets and the invisible hand. And to look out and see that there are other ships in those choppy waters can kind of be reassuring. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose here in a moment so you can continue about kicking butt and taking names. Before we do so, though, do you have any parting thoughts for anyone considering jumping into the pool with you?
So, the Foundry or entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship in general.
I think probably the biggest thing is, networking, or really a better term is just like finding as many people like-minded as you who are in on it. It's a lot more enjoyable when you got other people who you can talk to about what you're doing, and it's actually really one thing I was really surprised at is how helpful other people can be, because they might be having some issue that you're working through, and they'll say, hey, we'll check out this video, or hey, read this article, and it solves some of the problems that you're looking at. So just kind of expanding the group of people that you surround yourself with, that you hang out with and work on these projects with, again, really it's really helpful in a lot of ways. So I would definitely say that the more people you can become friends with, maybe work on projects with together, even just shoot the breeze with, and say, hey, I'm working on this, what are you working on? And be able to have something to talk about that way. That's something that I really like as well.
The power of, I personally call that the power of Kevin Bacon, based on that ancient old game, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where, you might not know how to solve it, or the people that you personally don't know or personally know might not know. But if you're chatting with 4 or 5 other people, they each know 10 to 20 people, and those 10 to 20 people might know people. So odds are decent you can find a solution in your network of friends and acquaintances. So, and people don't realize how many people they actually know until they're reminded, like, you're probably a few degrees of separation, like maybe 2 or 3 from someone that would make you go, holy cow, that person would solve my problem, and it would be mutually beneficial for both of us. So very, very cool. Well, Brent, thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to rocking it out. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you folks out there, we will catch you next time on another Founder Stories.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you.